Welcome to The Explainer. You know, for so many of us, the kitchen can be a source of stress, but it doesn't have to be. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can turn that kitchen into a space you absolutely love. This is your homeowner's guide to getting it done.
All right, let's just jump right in with a question. And be honest with yourself. When you walk into your kitchen, what's the feeling you get? Is it joy, inspiration, or is it more like, oh, another chore, a list of frustrations?
Yeah, if that last question hit a little too close to home, trust me, you are not alone. So many homeowners get to this point where all those little annoyances, they just start piling up and become this one big frustration. And these problems are pretty much universal, right? You've got those old, worn-out cabinets, countertops with scratches and stains, and if you live somewhere humid, like Orlando, you know all about that damage from heat and humidity that just pops up out of nowhere. Throw in a really bad layout, and suddenly cooking feels less like a joy and more like you're running an obstacle course. So you look at all that, and the idea of fixing it, it's overwhelming, isn't it? It can feel like you're standing at the entrance of this huge, complicated maze filled with decisions and deadlines and, let's be real, a whole lot of dust. But I promise it doesn't have to be that chaotic.
Because here's the thing, the way you get through that maze is with a map, and that map is your plan. Every single successful remodel, I don't care if it's a tiny refresh or a massive gut job, starts with a really clear, structured plan.
And this journey usually breaks down into two main phases. First, you've got the design and planning stage. This can take, 1 to 3 weeks. This is where you nail down all your ideas, figure out the budget. Then comes the building and installation phase, which could be anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. It really just depends on how big you're going. But that plan, that's what keeps the whole project on track and on time. Okay, so let's get into that roadmap. The key here is to take all these huge, intimidating choices and break them down into smaller, way more manageable pieces.
And first up, let's talk cabinets. You have to start here. Why? Because they are the foundation of your kitchen's entire look and feel. I mean, they take up most of the visual real estate, so it makes perfect sense that this is where the journey begins.
So you've basically got two main paths to go down here, custom or stock. With custom, you get a perfect, tailored fit for your exact space, and your design options are pretty much unlimited. The trade-off, of course, is a higher price tag. Then you have stock cabinets. These are way more budget-friendly and were great for most common kitchen layouts.
All right, next up, countertops. And these things have to work hard, right? They're not just there to look pretty. They need to be tough enough for daily life, but here's the cool part. The right material is also a serious investment that can actually boost your home's value.
And when it comes to materials, granite and quartz are the two heavy hitters. Granite gives you that beautiful, natural, one-of-a-kind stone look. Quartz, on the other hand, gives you really consistent patterns, and it's a bit lower maintenance. But here's the bottom line for both. An investment here really does pay you back when it's time to sell.
Okay, and finally, let's talk about the floor. This is the surface that takes the most abuse, hands down. We're talking spills, foot traffic, humidity, you name it. In a busy kitchen, the floor has to be tough. And if you live in a humid place like Florida, your choice of material is absolutely crucial. Tile is a go-to for a reason. It's great with moisture and easy to clean. Luxury vinyl plank, or LVP, is super popular now because you get that gorgeous wood look, but it's way more durable. Hardwood looks amazing and adds a ton of value, but you just got to know going in that it's going to need a little more TLC.
Which brings us to probably the single most important choice you're going to make in this whole process, the big one. Do you do it yourself, or do you hire a pro?
And when you look at it side by side like this, the trade-offs become really clear. I mean, look at the time difference. We're talking a potential of 3 to 6 months for DIY versus 4 to 8 weeks with a pro. But it's the other stuff too. Who's handling the permits? What about the quality? And that warranty? Having your work guaranteed? That peace of mind is huge.
And really, the bottom line is kind of stark. You might save some money on labor doing it yourself, sure, but a bad DIY job can actually hurt your home's value. On the flip side, professional work isn't just a cost, it's a direct investment in your property.
And the numbers totally back this up. We're talking about getting back 60 to 80% of what you put in when you eventually sell the house. Think about that. That's a huge return on your investment, which is pretty amazing for a home improvement project.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. What are the key things you need to remember to get started on your own dream kitchen? Let's boil it all down to a simple checklist.
Here it is, your action checklist. First, really figure out what frustrates you right now. Then, set a real budget and timeline. After that, you compare your materials.
Then comes that big DIY versus pro decision. And hey, if you do go pro, please make sure you find someone who's licensed and has great local reviews. It makes all the difference.
So I'm going to leave you with one last question to get your imagination going. Just for a second, forget about the budget, forget about the timeline. If you could change just one thing, what's the one thing that would totally transform your kitchen? And more importantly, how you feel when you're in it? Whatever that is, that's your starting point.